It is just after 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. This meeting is for the Bloodroot Ultras happening here in Pittsfield, Vermont this weekend. We have several races that are going to be happening. There's a 100-mile event that's happening starting at 7 a.m. this Friday, which I believe is the 10th. And then on Saturday morning, there's a 10-mile, a 50K, and a 50-mile starting at 7 a.m. All of the events start and finish at the Riverside Farm in Pittsfield, Vermont, and they're all staged specifically at the White Barn. When you arrive on the property, you're going to see several barns. You're going to be looking for the White Barn. It's very obvious. There's no way you're going to miss it. So let me get started here. My name is Luis Escobar. I'm one of the organizers. My title is race director. And over the next maybe 30 minutes, we're going to talk about the event in detail. I'm here to answer questions. I have most of the answers, pretty sure, but I'll bet you anything someone's going to stump me here, and I'll do my best to answer. Let me tell you this, just a little bit about myself. This is my 4th time here to conduct this event, and it's been beautiful. This is a wonderful place. I'm very familiar with the race course, the logistics, most of the runners that have been here. I've seen this event grow, and I've seen the challenges that we've had and we've overcome, and I've watched a lot of people meet and exceed their goals. And I'm excited to be here this time with all of you. So I'm going to go over this runner guide, and I sent this to all of you. It's just a simple 2.5-page PDF form, and it just has basic logistics, basic information about the event. Let me start by telling you this. By design, the Bloodroot events are very primitive and rustic. By design, there's not a lot of amenities. This is not the Western States 100 where there's aid stations every 6 miles and cooked food, and it's not like that. This is more raw, more organic, more kind of back to the grassroots of ultra running back in the 80s. If you signed up for a very challenging race in a beautiful place and you're prepared to be self-sufficient, this is for you. So there's a couple changes that have happened over the years, and this first thing is very significant, and it's new, and this was not part of when you signed up for the race. You didn't know about this. This is something that that the property owners here have asked us to do this year, and they're asking for $20 cash per vehicle upon arrival. So it's a parking fee. And so when you arrive here, there's going to be a representative from the ranch or from the venue here. They're going to collect this $20, and that pays for your parking and some renovations that they've recently done to the parking lot. So if you can't, well, bring $20 cash and be prepared to hand it to them when you arrive. Okay, any questions about that? Great. You should have this form with you. I would suggest that you print it and have it with you in your car. And I hate it when people read to me, but I'm going to read to you. So I'm just going to go over these things point by point, and I'm asking you to please ask me questions and, more importantly, suggestions. So the schedule, it's pretty simple. Friday, the 10th, that's this Friday, at 6:15 a.m. is packet pickup for the 100-mile runners only. So 6:15, our registration folks will be here, and you can pick up your bib number at that time. The race is going to start at 7 o'clock, exactly at 7 o'clock on Friday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. At 4 o'clock, we are opening optional early packet pickup. You do not have to come on Friday to pick up your bib number. If you want to, you can come out here at 4 o'clock. Our registration folks will be sitting here from 4 to 7 o'clock. They will not be available after 7 or before 4. I personally would suggest that you come here and pick up your bib at that time, between 4 and 7 on Friday. This is going to save a lot of time on Saturday morning. Any questions about Friday? Any questions about the 100? No, wait, let's not go into that yet. Give me a minute.
Let me ask if you.
Hey, Louis, I have a question.
Let's have it.
In regards to parking, I'm in the 100-mile race, and I'm curious, as once we pay this fee, are we going to get a pass or something for our cars, so if our crew can come and go as they please without issue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's a good question. Again, this parking fee is not coming from me or from the race. It's coming from the venue, and they are handling those logistics. So I'm going to put a note in here because obviously it makes sense that they hand you a parking pass or a permit or a wristband or something that you can come and go. So I'll talk with them and make sure that that's in play. I would think at the minimum they'll put your name on a list, but the answer is yeah, you're not going to be paying $20 every time your crew goes in and out.
Thank you.
Yeah. Give me some time to work on that one, though. Again, this is a new thing. It's new to me, too, so we'll figure it out.
Similarly, if you show up for the packet pickup on Friday, you're not going to be hit twice with a parking fee to show up for the race on Saturday.
There's no way that they're going to do that. I'll confirm that with them, but no, no. Don't bring $40. Bring 20. Okay. Any other questions about that parking fee? These are very important, good questions. Okay. Saturday is race day for the 10, the 50K, and the 50 miler. And we're going to open registration at 6:15. Actually, I'm going to ask them to be ready to go at 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. On the runner guide that I sent to you, it says 6:15. That's what's been published all along, but we'll be ready at 6 a.m. So show up early. There's going to be a lot of people. There's 425 people registered in this thing. So that's a lot of folks all at one time. We will have a runner meeting 10 minutes prior to the start. So at 6:45, be race ready, standing at the start line area. We'll go over basic information, answer a few questions, and get the races started right at 7 o'clock. All three races, 50 mile, 50K, and 10 mile, will start at 7. Any questions about that? This is a change from previous years. We've had staggered starts. That was due to COVID, actually, when we didn't want to have large groups of people in one place. So we had an hour between each race. But this year, we're going back to a mass start, 7 o'clock. Okay. There are some cutoff times, and this is important that you listen to this. The course will close at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. So whether you're in the 50 mile, the 50K, or the 100 miles, you have until 9 p.m. to complete the course. Part of this is because we have agreed not to be out here after dark. 9 o'clock is after dark, but we want to get everybody off this mountain safely in your cars and driving home prior to 9 p.m. If this is a problem for you, you need to tell me in advance if you don't like the cutoff, but it is what it is. This is a non-negotiable thing. I can't change that. This is another very important thing. If you're in the 50 mile or in the 100 mile, nobody can start a lap on the 10-mile course after 6 p.m. So if you're in the 100 miles, you're going to do 10 10-mile loops. That 9th or that 10th and final loop, you need to start it prior to 6 p.m. So if you arrive here, if you finish loop 9 and it's 6:30 p.m., you cannot go out for that final loop. So your first cutoff as a 100 miler is to cover 90 prior to 6 p.m. This is also a non-negotiable thing. This is our permit dictates this. Any questions about that?
Can I go back to questions about registration?
Please do.
You had indicated it starts at 6 o'clock with 450 participants. Are we going to legitimately be able to get through that line within an hour to be ready for start?
We have the answer is, I sure hope so. We have a group of people that are here to do that. It's not just one person sitting at a desk. So we do have a full group of folks that are going to be checking people in. And that is our intention.
Okay, thank you.
But you've probably been to a few of these things, and it's rare that they start right on time, but that's our full intention.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Louis, just a question about, did you mean the 100-mile and the 50-mile for the loops?
Yes.
Is that for, oh, I thought you said 50K. Because the 50K is one continuous loop, and that's it. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
50 miles, one loop. I mean, one big loop and then two of the 10-mile loops,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, let me, that's next on my notes here. So let me go over that. Course formats.
Yep.
10 miles, you're going to do one 10-mile loop. It's marked with pink ribbons. Pink is positive, so you're going to run towards the pink ribbons, and you're going to keep them on your left-hand side. We mark the whole course, runner left, which means the ribbons are always on your left. If the ribbons are always on your right, it means you're going backwards. So turn around, put the ribbons on your left. Pink is positive. Green is mean. Green is mean. Green is bad. If you see a green ribbon, stop. Do not run past it. Stop. Look around. Find the pink ribbon. Put it on your left-hand side and proceed. Do not run past green. Green is mean. Pink is positive. Green is negative on the 10-mile loop. So 10 milers, you're going to do one loop counterclockwise on the big mountain. I'm sitting right here looking at the mountain. It's right there in front of me. It's a doozy. Keep your eyes open. There's a lot of trails. There's a lot of braided trails. A lot of options. If you follow those pink ribbons, you will run a 10-mile loop. If you don't follow those pink ribbons, you're going to get into a crazy world. So keep your eyes open. Part of trail running is being able to navigate, being able to follow markers, being able to pay attention. Oftentimes people do get lost. It's usually the front runners that get lost, that have their heads down, earphones on, not paying attention. And then they get lost. Then they come back to me and then they're upset. But oftentimes 400 people are in the race and 399 went the right way and one person went the wrong way. And it's usually somebody that's not paying attention. The 50K, that's 31 miles. It's pretty accurate. It's one single counterclock loop on the Bloodroot side of the mountain. It's behind me. It's marked in blue. You're following blue. Blue is positive. Blue is bitchin'. Keep looking for blue. It's on your left-hand side. All the information is on your left. Again, if it's on your right and right and right, you're going backwards. We put a lot of time and effort marking this thing on the left. Same thing. If you see green, green is mean, stop, look around, find the blue, run to the blue, put it on your left. Okay? The cutoff for the 50K is 9 p.m. There is an aid station 3 miles away from the finish. And if you're there at, 8:30 at night, and there's no way you're going to make it back here before 9, we'll probably put you in a truck and bring you back. So we want everybody, there's not a cutoff at that aid station, mile 28, but you should be out of there well before 9. You should be out of there by 8 for your own safety. Okay, the 50-mile is one 50K loop behind me on the Bloodroot side. And then you come over here and then you run two pink loops, 10 miles. And you're probably thinking, well, that's not 50 miles. That's 51 miles. Yeah, it's 51 miles. It might be closer to 52 miles. The cutoff still applies. 6 p.m. to start your final loop. Everybody cool? Give me a thumbs up if you're still awake and still enjoying this.
I have two questions.
Okay.
With regards to cutoff. So just to be clear, 100-milers will still be able to run the night of Friday. The course does not close on Friday night at 9 p.m.
Not only will you be allowed to, you're going to have to. So yes, absolutely. You're running Friday night.
Okay, great. So just also to be clear, the 100-milers have 38 hours, but if we have to be into the final loop by hour 35.
You got it.
Perfect. Thank
Kelly,
you.
prior to 6 p.m.
Yes.
Prior to 6 p.m. Don't
Gotcha.
show up at the aid station at 6 and expect to continue. Okay?
Understood. Yep.
It's super important.
Thank you.
You got it.
I have one question.
Sure.
Is there any tracking app of anything for our families to follow?
No, there is not. Again, this sort of goes to the intended rustic nature of this event. So there is no live tracking. Also, I don't know if you guys spent much time in Pittsfield, Vermont, but there's hardly any internet here or cell. This is another big issue. You people here in Vermont, I don't know how you live. There's very, very little Wi-Fi or cell. So when you're here, when your family's here on the property, there's going to be no cell reception. Not some, not maybe, not one bar, zero. So be prepared for that. We are tracking the runners though. So we're counting each lap with a computer. So it's going to be tracking you. There's going to be a tracking device on your body. And then we have a mat out on the course that every time you cross that mat, it counts a lap. But it's not broadcast live. So your friends can't watch this remotely. Okay.
Okay, and what is another question? What do you recommend if it is raining? What is your recommendation about changing the whole clothing? Do you recommend to like every, I don't know, I'm assuming every 50 miles? I don't know what to...
This is a personal question, and that's really a question for your coach, really not for me. At this point, I would think that everybody that's coming here attempting this 100-mile has a plan and has experience. If it was me running myself, I'd want to be my feet as clean and dry as possible. I would be prepared to change at least my socks every lap. I think it's going to rain and it's very muddy. Even if it doesn't rain, you're going to see mud. So, Indira, I don't have an answer for you. You'll have to figure that one out on your own.
Okay, that helps. That helps. Yeah, just what you know. Thank you.
This is a great place. If this is, I think I heard somebody say it's your first 100. This is a great place for that because every 10 miles, you're going to come into support. So every 10 miles, there's people. So you're not just out in the wilderness by yourself.
Okay.
So the cutoff for the 50K is 14 hours. The cutoff for the 50K is 9 p.m. It won't take you 14 hours. I think even if you walked all the way. There's no official cutoff right now for the final aid station at mile 28, but I would say you want to be out of there before dark for sure. So you want to be out of there by this time, by 7:30. I doing okay? Am I answering? You guys are good with everything? All right. I love these meetings because it makes me feel really good to see so many of you here. It means it's important to you. And it's very important to me. Okay, where were we? The 50 mile, we talked about that, right? Did I say that? You're going to do one big loop across the street on the Bloodroot side, come back over here. So you're going to do blue over there, come back over here and do 2 pinks. You got to start the second pink prior to 6 p.m. Okay. All right. Aid stations. The 10 mile loop. So if you're in the 100 or you're doing the 10 mile, there's full aid here at the base camp. All types of food. There's no cooked foods here, but there's all kinds of commercially packaged foods. There's goo products, there's granola bars, there's candy, there's chips, there's a variety of things that you're going to want. There's also bottled water, there's sparkling water, there's something called hop water, there's Pedialyte, there's all kinds of fluids here. So every 10 miles, you're going to come into the main aid station and there's going to be plenty of work, plenty of things here for you. On the course, approximately 5 miles into the 10 mile loop, you're going to get to a water station, not an aid station, a water station. Somebody's saying they've been getting limited cell. AT&T gets some limited cell. Verizon, no cell. Google Fi, no cell. Okay, so the 10 mile loop, full aid at the start, water station at the top, back down, full aid, back down here, and you're just going to do loops. Okay, so approximately every 5 miles. Full food, water, full food, water, full food, water. Okay.
I have another question about the course map, if we can talk about that really quickly.
Yep.
For the 10 mile loop, when it says counterclockwise, does that mean we're going to be coming up back behind Shrek's, or are we going up the switchbacks first to come up in front of Shrek's?
You're coming into Shrek's from behind.
Okay.
So you're gonna do some of the switchbacks that it sounds like you're familiar with, noodles and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go towards, I don't remember the name of the road over here, and then it swings back around and you come into Shrek's from behind.
Okay. Okay. So it's going to go towards Tweed River, I think.
That's Tweed River Road. It kind of goes that way and then cuts back in.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Will the venue have like a landline that we might be able to use to call a ride when we're done? No?
I don't
Okay.
think so. No. Okay. 50K, aid stations, water stations. You guys ready? So the first, and let me tell you something. These numbers are approximate. Don't need to show me your Garmin afterwards and said, you said that aid station was at 4.5 miles and it's 4.7. These are approximate. The first aid station is approximately 4.5 miles from the start. So you figure by mile 5, you're going to get to an aid station. Full aid, food, water, support, tracking. Someone's writing your names or your numbers down. By the way, wear your bib number on the front of your body, visible at all times. We need the number is there for a reason so that you can be identified from a distance. So please wear it on the front of your body where it's visible. So not underneath your vest, not underneath your jacket. Put it on your hat, put it on your pants, put it somewhere where I can see it when you're coming at me. Don't put it on your back. Okay, so the first aid station, approximately mile 4.5. The next one is approximately mile 7. The next one after that is about mile 10. And then approximately mile 14. And then 18. And then 28. So there's, I'm sorry, 18 and then 20. 18 is an interesting spot because there's a 1 mile out and back. So you arrive at this place called Gravel Pit and you're at mile 18. And then you do a 1 mile out and back. So you add 2 miles now. So now you're at mile 20. Then you do the big piece. It's just over 8 miles. It's up and over the blood route. It's the biggest part of the course. It's steep. It's muddy. There's all kinds of down trees. There's lots of bugs. All the fun stuff is out there happening right now. I just got back from there. Just took a shower. Full of bugs, full of mud, the whole thing. You guys are going to love it. It's a solid 8 to 9 miles. So there's a big piece. When you leave the gravel pit aid station, mile 20, make sure you've got plenty of food and water on you. If you think you're going to be out there after dark, make sure you have a headlamp. That's the one thing that's going to get you bounced off the course. If it's dusk and you say, I can keep going, but you don't have a headlamp, we can't let you go. That's not safe. So I always have a headlamp in my pack, no matter what, always. It doesn't matter what time of day, always have at least a small headlamp in your pack. Okay, so water station or aid station number 6 is approximately mile 28. And then you've got about a 3-mile shot to get back here to the finish, about a 5K. Okay, so you have 7 aid station opportunities on the race course on the 50K. All right, pretty reasonable.
Louis,
Yes.
will there be an opportunity for any spectators or support at any of the aid stations on the 50K course?
Yeah, the best way to do that is to have them volunteer. If they volunteer, then I can take them out onto the course and they can work at an aid station. And then when you come by, maybe they're going to stay out there for a little while longer. We'll bring them back in and they can see you finish. The reality, the course is not spectator friendly. And don't encourage your family to go onto the course if they don't have a high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle. They'll get stuck 100%, not maybe, 100% they'll get stuck. And the roads are narrow and muddy. And so if somebody gets stuck, then they're going to block that road and it's going to be a danger. It's going to be an issue for everybody. So please don't encourage your wife to go out there in the Subaru. She's going to get stuck. I can get her out there in a 4-wheel drive truck if she volunteers to help out at one of the aid stations. So yeah, it's not spectator friendly. The best thing for them to do is post up here. It's a beautiful, incredibly beautiful place. They're not going to get to see it, but they can hang out here.
I was wondering if you knew what was going to kind of be stocked at the aid stations a little bit during the 50K loop at least.
Yeah, there's going to be some goo products. There's going to be solid food, pre-packaged commercial snacks. Not something, if you're a top athlete, that you're going to be wanting eating Oreos. There's cookies, there's granola bars, there's chips, there's fruit snacks. There's a variety of different fluids, Pedialyte, of course, water, sparkling water. That's it. There's no cooked food. So there's no hot soup, potatoes, all of that stuff, not here. Okay.
Great. Thanks. Yeah. A weird question. Is there like Coke there? Just wondering.
Oh, good question. Yeah. Yes. There is some Coke, but not a lot, but you'll find Coke out there.
Great. Thanks so much.
I think we have Coke and Sprite and maybe ginger ale. And while we're talking about that, you know, we have a lot of cups, but I really prefer that you bring your own water bottles and bladders. And so we're not just wasting a bunch of cups. You know, we got 400 people coming through 7 aid stations, and then we just got a shit ton of cups everywhere. So it's better if you just come prepared with a reusable, collapsible cup or a water bottle or a bladder. We have cups. I just don't like using them.
Is there a possibility that they could run out of water at any aid stations?
Were you here 2 years ago? No, that's not going to happen this year. We have plenty of water. I'm looking right at it. These bottles are out here. We will not run out of water. 2 years ago, we ran out of water. It was hot and we were caught with, we got behind and we just blew it. We've rectified that.
One question.
That's good to know.
So you said that we're gonna have like a station for the 100 milers at the start finish Y barn. Now, are we women gonna be able to have like a little small tent to change, or we have to use the porta potties as a changing station?
There is no, no, there's no changing room.
Not changing them. Okay.
So if that's something that's important to you, what I would suggest is bring an easy up with tarp walls and make or a little tent or something like that. There's plenty of space. You can put a tent. No problem. But there's no private changing room. There's no private restroom. There's going to be portable toilets.
Where are you leaving?
Okay.
Okay. And again, all of this is by design, right? The owners of this want this thing to be as challenging as possible. And so there's certain amenities that you might find at other races that we just don't have here. And that's the nature of this event. It's not that we don't know how to do it or that we can't build a warming room and all of that, but that's a counter to the flavor or the nature of this event. Okay.
I have a question, Luis, regarding kind of related to the race, but not really. The campsite, the contact person that you gave me is not responding. Do you have any other number there that I could contact him? Maybe?
So the number, I think I gave you the number to Matt Batts, who manages the cabin on the top of the mountain. You don't want to stay there. For one thing, I don't think it's available. Plus, you
Okay.
have to walk 6 miles to get to it. You
Okay,
can't drive to it. It's a remote hut on the top of the mountain.
gotcha. I thought you could bring your truck there or somewhere and, just camp over
No.
there.
People, it's a hike in kind of a hut.
Okay,
So
that's why I couldn't find it anywhere.
yeah.
I mean,
And
online.
so let's talk about that. There's no camping here at the
Okay.
Riverside Farm. They don't want you parking, hobo camping on the road, sleeping in your car, none of that. There is a road behind the general store here in town. It's called Upper Michigan Road. And if you drive out on Upper Michigan Road about 3 miles, there's free, open, dispersed camping. There's no campground, but there's turnouts where you can park and spend a night or two. I was just
All
there
right.
2 hours ago.
The popo is not gonna come and get me.
I don't know about that. There were some interesting people back there, but there are turnouts that would be perfect if you were sleeping in your van or something like that. And I don't, I'm not from Pittsfield, so I don't know everything about this town, but I don't think that there's any campgrounds. The closest town is Killington, which is the ski resort, which is about 15 minutes or so away. You could probably find a room there.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much.
Hey, Lewis, another thing about the camping part. How far away is the spot behind the general store? I also know that Killington, they have downhill mountain biking. I'm not sure if it's open, but if anybody wants to know, you are allowed to camp in their parking lot. So I'm glad to know Killington's that close. So for anybody that wants to know, there's that. But yeah, I was curious how close that one is because I have a rooftop tent for my truck. I was hoping I'd be able to camp in a parking lot, but unfortunately we cannot. So just curious. That way I can figure out the time. And then
Yeah.
after I have a question about the aid stations, what's at them. So
Okay, so again, with the parking, please don't plan to park anywhere around Riverside Farm. And if I were you, I wouldn't park on any of the public streets in front of any of these people's homes. They're pretty private here in Pittsfield, and I don't think that they would like all of us hobo camping in their front yards.
yeah, no, I
So-
meant the spot you're talking about
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all
yeah.
the turnout spot.
Yeah. So Upper Michigan Road, probably the closest turnout to where I'm sitting right here is probably 3 miles away, 4 miles away.
Oh, so it's
But look,
close.
yeah, if it was me personally, if I was doing this, I would go to Killington. I would go 20 minutes away, sleep in a place that's safe and where there's other people around. But your
Okay.
call.
Yeah, and then the other one was the aid stations there. So I have them written down. So you said the first aid station was a full aid station, water, food, all that jazz. The second one, I'm assuming is just water.
So you have that guide that I sent you, and it says next to each of the aid stations says AS1, AS2, or WS. So AS is aid station, which will have
Oh, okay.
food.
Yeah.
WS is just water.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I'll take a look at that and write it down here on my notes. And yeah, before I forget, while I have this on here, the GPX file for the 50K.
So did you receive the link to the CalTopo link that I sent?
Sure did.
You
Yep.
should be able to extract the GPX from that.
Okay, I'll write that down. CalTopo. All right. Yeah, I was trying to find that earlier and I looked it up and wasn't sure if you had a direct link, but I'll look it up through there. There is a way to do it. I just wasn't sure if there was an easier one.
No, that's
Click the link.
that's the way.
All right. Thank you, Lewis.
Okay.
There is no way.
Any more questions for me about anything we've talked about so far?
Lewis, I got a quick question about the 50K route.
Yes.
Other than the known distances for the aid stations, are there any mile markers at all on the course for the 50K?
You mean, did we place mile markers that you're at this distance or that distance?
Exactly.
No, nothing
Okay.
like that. Again, kind of the
That's a
nature
good thing.
kind of the nature of the
Maybe.
event.
Okay. Thank you.
And again, we have the ability to do all of that. This team that's out here putting this thing together, it's the top Spartan trail team in the country. We got 4 of the best trail markers in the Spartan company are right here. In fact, 2 of them are walking up right now. But this is not a Spartan event. This is intended to be more rustic and more difficult and more challenging. And so mile markers, inspirational signs, anything like that just doesn't exist on this race course.
Got it.
One question. How far is the parking lot from the base camp aid station?
How far is the parking lot to the base camp aid station?
Yes.
30 yards.
Okay. Okay. Just to make sure. And how many 100-milers sign-ups do you have?
At the moment, there are 31 registered. I can tell you that we have about a 20% no-show rate on this event. Probably after they listen to this meeting, they decide not to come. So we get a lot of no-shows. Let me give you some stats. In 2019, we had 6 people start the 100. 6. 2 finished. In 2020, there was no race. In 2021, there were no finishers. In 2022, there were 22 people started, 2 people finished. Last year, 14 people started the race and 4 finished. So there's been 8 finishers for this 100-miler since 2019. Today, there are 31 people registered. I'm guessing 20 people are going to show up, and we'll probably have, hopefully, we'll have a lot of finishers.
Thank you for the positiveness.
I don't want to be negative or scary or anything, but I mean, this is a tough race course.
So I know you said,
David Goggins finished this race, I think, in 2017.
Awesome.
Any more questions about anything so far?
yeah, so you said no sleeping in the parking lot. Is our crew allowed to crew for us all night though?
Yes. So yes, your crew is welcome to be here. And so if you're a 100-miler, they haven't told me that you can't spend the night. I mean, of course they can spend the night. So yes, yes, your crew is welcome to be here overnight on Friday night into Saturday.
Okay. I mean, like, would it be fine? Like, do they have to go somewhere if they want to just shut their eyes for a couple hours, or probably fine? So just, okay.
Yeah. I think what they don't want, what the property owners don't want, is this to turn into a campground.
Yeah, a bunch of people camping out, and
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense.
And so the 100-mile people, when you arrive, you're going to be directed to a very specific parking lot. It's right over here, and that's going to be the 100-mile village, really. So all of your cars, campers, vans, all that stuff is going to be in this one specific corral, and it's right near the start finish. So yeah, I guess if you have a camper van, you roll in Friday morning, and your family just stays there until you finish on Saturday night.
Okay, thanks.
For the 50K, I think you mentioned that mile 20 to 28 was the bulk of the elevation and the worst of the bugs. Was that right?
Well, there's bugs in there. There's a lot
The
of
whole
bugs.
time.
A lot of
Yeah.
bugs out here. And today was a warm day, so there was more flies than there was yesterday. But I can say, yes, that piece from Gravel Pit, mile 20 to a place called Pelkey's, mile 28, that's the big chunk. In fact, Benoit, come over here. So I'm going to introduce you to somebody. His name is Benoit. He's shy. He's the one that marked that section of course today. So Benoit, they're asking about Gravel Pit to Pelkey's. So if you could give us some information, distance, down trees, climb, any of that stuff.
Sure. Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I just did this part today, and it was really easy trail, but it's pretty wet and muddy in some areas, just to make the running a little difficult, I think. And then there's also down trees to be aware of, kind of going around those, so I'll kind of slow you down a little bit. Overall, it's a pretty good path. It was, the whole distance there was about 9 miles, and until you get to the road, pretty much. Trying to think what else. It's pretty wide trail, so you're not gonna deal with a single track at all.
It's
And-
like snowmobile.
Yeah, it's a snowmobile track pretty much. There's one climb that's pretty good, but it's short. And then the second climb later on that's actually not bad at all. And I got about 2,000 feet elevation gain on that section. So it's pretty good, but you just have to kind of watch, where you step and all, and watch for the trees. I'm guessing it might get a little worse if we get some rain coming down the next couple of days. So just gonna be aware of that. And there's no way around not getting wet, but I mean, that's the whole course pretty much. So
Can you tell them how you mark the course, what side, and what about the turns?
So the whole course is gonna be runner's left, blue streamers hanging from trees. It's pretty much, you're gonna see them ahead because you can see the trail quite a bit ahead of you. So it's not like very often if you've, let me think for a second, but there's not many turns possible. There's no other trails really. I think there was a couple trails there. And so if I mark, you'll see the blue trail, which is the one you're following. If you see some green streamers, you want to make sure you stay away from those. It's just your indication that you're going the wrong way. And on this section, I think there's about 3 or 4 kind of off trail that goes that way. Yeah, there's not that much traffic on that one. As far as other trails, you pretty much stay on the same trail the whole time there, which is nice. Makes it a lot easier for people not to get lost. And then if you see, there'll be a couple turns. They see with those candy cane, blue and white. Is it white? Yeah. Blue and white streamers too, to show you that you're actually turning. So you'll be on the side that you're turning to. And I think there's only maybe 2, 3 of those turns. There's a big turn in there about, I think it was about 4 or 5 miles in from that section. and there'll be a lot of arrows. You can't go wrong with it. There's like a big trail coming down. You don't want to go on. It'll be a left turn for you, and there'll be like 5 arrows to show you go turn, go straight. You can't miss it. And that's like the biggest one that you have on this section. I think that's about it. Everything, because then I get onto the road to the finish, so past the bridge and also.
So 2 things that he said there that I didn't tell you about. So if there's a critical turn in most of the places, we put signs, arrows on the ground, a white plexi board, 10 by 10 inch white board with an arrow. And we put them right where you're going to walk. So if don't run past any of the arrows, just follow the directions. And what he was saying about candy cane, what that means is we put striped ribbons in the turns. So you're running along and there's blue ribbon, blue ribbon, blue ribbon, and then you see blue stripes to the right. That means, oh, and then you see an arrow on the ground to the right. Oh, okay, just follow the turn. So we use stripe ribbon as a turn signal. Okay, so you're following blue. Green is bad, don't go to green. Stripes mean turn. That's it. Any questions for me or Benoit about that section?
I have a question in general on the 50K. Is it more on the technical side or more on the runnable side?
I'd say it would be more on the runnable side if it was dry, and it's not dry. So I think that's going to be your challenge. If you're here to run fast, you might be challenging. You might be frustrated. Also, there's a lot of overgrown sections. And again, we left it like that on purpose. So you're going to get to a lot of overgrown stuff. You're going to get scratched up. That's what's going to slow you down, the mud and the brush and the down trees.
A lot of the mud you don't really see too. You think it's dry and it's actually pretty soft, and you kind of have to watch out for that too. A lot of areas where you just have rocks, you can hop over the rocks to kind of miss the wet spots, but overall, there's very few, I think, fast running in any of those sections, I think.
See, that sounds like fun to me. So with the mud that's there, I've always been a big fan of mud and all that jazz. I'm assuming you definitely don't want ankle socks running out there. Assuming you want like mid-height socks. Yeah, mid-height would be a smart way to go about it.
Yeah, bring your stout running kit.
Yeah, I'm all for it. As soon as I heard mud, I got a big smile on my face. The dirtier, the better. It makes it more interesting. And yeah, so that's awesome. So I just wanted to just go over it real quick. So just blue on the left for the 50K. So blue's on the left-hand side, green is mean. So the cutoff is 9 p.m. So you have till 7 a.m. till 9 p.m., which is a great amount of time. Stripes mean turn.
Yes.
I can get my GPX file off of CalTopo. Camping can be either Upper Michigan Road behind the general store or at Killington. Obviously, don't camp there. Got the aid station stuff down. I believe you already said it, but I want to double check. The total elevation for the 50K. It's probably on CalTopo, but I don't have that pulled up right now.
Yeah, I don't want to say because I also don't have it up right now, but it should be just over 7,000 feet.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I did the Killington Spartan half marathon, so trying to compare it to that one. My last ultra was 12,000, so that's good. Makes me feel good. But now with the overgrown stuff, should we bring any utility tools with us, or is it we're able to push it with our hands?
Stephen, we had to go through it, so you're going to go through it too.
Perfect.
We're all scraped up, and we want you to be just like that on Saturday night.
Good. I'm all for it. If I'm gonna be running that far, I want to make sure it looks like I ran that far.
You will.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that's what I have for questions here. But thank you.
Okay. I'm going to keep going, and then I'll stop again for questions here in just a moment. Emergency medical services, we have EMTs. There's a staff of 4 that will be on the course. There'll be somebody at the base camp at all times. And so if there's any type of a medical situation, you should be pretty close to somebody that can help you. Get to one of the aid stations or water stations, and we'll help you. We will have 2-way radio communication that works pretty well. So even if you're way in the back country and you need extraction or you need help, we should be able to do that for you. Do me a favor, not just this race, but any race that you go to, don't put yourself at risk, because when you put yourself at risk, you really are putting a lot of people at risk. It's not just you that's out there. Then we have to go find you, and then now you're putting us at risk. So if you get to a spot and you're like, man, I'm not sure if I can make it to this next piece, but I'm just going to gut it out. I'm going to do my best. And I mean, of course, that's why we're here. But if it's not realistic for you to make it 8 miles, 9 miles to the next, don't do it, because you're just it's going to be a bad day for you and for everyone involved. So do your best. We want you to meet your goals. We've been here for days setting this up because we want you to succeed, but don't put yourself in a situation that you're going to fail and put yourself and us at risk. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but there you go. There'll be restrooms at mile here at the start finish, and mile 3 and mile 18, provided that we can get the restrooms into those locations. So I wouldn't really count on it because of the condition of the road and the mud, and getting a toilet out there is going to be a challenge. But that's the plan, mile 0, mile 3, and mile 18. But honestly, the reality is they're probably not going to be able to get the toilets back there. So be prepared. Don't leave anything on the trail. You know what I mean? Leave it somewhere else. Alexa Wilson, why are you laughing so hard?
I just know somebody that's running the race that's very concerned about this.
I know, but it's I can't promise. So that somebody, here's what you do, be prepared to dig. That's not an official answer. We will put toilets out there as we can, but if not, you need to come up with plan B. Don't leave anything on the trail. Don't leave a big, clean white toilet paper laying on the trail. Take care of it. Take it out with you. Okay, here's a few frequently asked questions and some rules. There will be finishers awards for each and every one of you. No dogs, no dogs, no dogs. Please don't come with your dog. They don't want dogs on the property. I am a dog person. I sleep with 2 dogs every night. I run with my dog. Dogs are part of my life and part of my family, but they can't be here at this facility. It's a beautifully manicured place. It can't be dogs out here running around pooping. So please do not bring your dogs. Certainly no dogs on the race course. This has to do with our insurance. No pacers. So this is again to the nature of this event. It's you, just you. You can runner to runner aid is fine. You can find a buddy. You guys can hook up. You can pace each other. You can share food, water, everything. Just you can't have somebody outside of the event. So if they don't have a bib number on and they're running with you, they're going to get you disqualified. So don't make me have to do that. Just please no runners. You're going to need to run the distance that you're registered for, which means if you start the 50 miler and you complete the 50K and then you come back and say, you know what, I'm good, just give me a 50K medal. It's really not fair. So we want you to do the race that you signed up for. If you want to drop down in distance, you need to do it before we start the race. Okay, that's kind of an important one. We can't allow late starts or early starts, meaning you can't show up here at 4 o'clock in the morning and start running. Got to start at 7, and there's no late starts. The race starts at 7. If you show up at 9, we can't let you start. This also has to do with our insurance and the staff that's out on the race course. Again, runner to runner aid is fine. We have cups, but again, please bring your own cups and water bottles. I just don't like throwing away so many cups. Trekking poles are okay. In fact, I would encourage you to bring your sticks with you. Headphones, this has to do with our insurance as well. We prefer that you do not run with headphones. I know that some of you are going to run with headphones, but I have to tell you, please don't run with headphones. And I can also tell you this, the people that tend to get lost are normally listening to a podcast or something like that. So please don't do that. If you have to listen to something, the way that I would suggest is you have your phone in your vest pocket, you turn the volume down really low so only you can hear it. Don't be the guy with the loudspeaker playing the music. Just low volume so you can hear it, but you can also hear ambient sounds and you can hear instructions. That's it. We talked about restrooms. We talked about on-site camping. That's it. There is a store very nearby. Somebody was asking if there was a cool place to hang out. There is. The original general store is located about 5 minutes away from the start-finish area. This is a great place for your friends and family to go and have breakfast. They have really good pancakes. They're in the runner guide is their hours of operation. It's the original general store in Pittsfield, Vermont. On Saturday, they're going to open 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. They're staying open late on Saturday, and Sunday they're open from 8 to 4. So 9 to 7 on Friday, 8 to 7 on Saturday, and 8 to 4 on Sunday. Cooked food, all the beverages, sit down dining if you want, good Wi-Fi. That's the place to go. That's all I got. We're always looking for volunteers. Again, if you want your spouse or your partner or somebody to go out on the race course and see you, the best way to do that is to volunteer, and then we can take them out there and we can bring them back. Is there drop bags at Riverside Farm? Yes. So there's this whole staging area. So we will have a designated spot, but the move is to just crew yourself out of your car. It's right here. The race course and the parking lot are right there. So you can put it easy up on the lawn, put all your stuff there, or you can put your stuff in your car, or you can put your stuff, we'll have a designated spot here by the White Barn. Is the 50K course run in the same direction as last year? Yes, counterclockwise.
If we're doing the 50 miler and we want to access our drop bag, do we have to let somebody know that we're going to go grab something and come back to the course, or how does that work?
No, you don't, but you might, when you come into the main aid station, you might say, hey, I'm going to go to my car. The main thing is you're going to cross a timing mat when you enter the corral and when you exit. It's important that you hit that mat in and out. If you come in and then you don't go out, if you're planning to post up for a while, you should probably tell us, like, hey, I'm going to go take a nap. I'm out for 30 minutes, just so we have an idea. We'll make a note.
Okay, but if we're just going to go grab dry socks or something like that.
Go do it. Just make sure you hit the mat, and it'll be designated. You can't get in and out of the corral without going over the mat unless you jump a fence or do something weird. So just make sure you hit that mat in and out.
Okay, so we could access it 31 miles, 41 miles, those 2 times are when we can hit that for the 50 miler.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it. And again, the mileage is all approximate. Got a couple more messages here. Thank you. See you soon. Great stuff. Sorry, I missed
I was hoping to get my crew to mile 18. I'm sure they'd be happy to volunteer, but how long of a ride from the main area to the mile 18 is it?
Mile 18 is outside of the town of Chittenden. I don't have directions for you. I can tell you that your crew will want to go to the Mountaintop Lodge in Chittenden. And from the Mountaintop Lodge, they're going to be on Mountaintop Road. And they want to continue on Mountaintop Road past the Mountaintop Lodge. The road will quickly turn to dirt. There's big ruts, there's big potholes, there's a lot of standing water and mud. But that's the way to get to mile 18. It's
45 minutes.
it's 45 minutes from the start finish.
Okay, thank you very much.
And again, I would not go there without a high clearance four-wheel drive vehicle. We are not driving a standard F-150 two-wheel drive truck on that road. We are driving a large, high clearance four-wheel drive Tundra is the only vehicle that can handle that road for us.
Thank you.
Best campsite recommendations. I don't know of any campsites, but Upper Michigan Road, there's dispersed camping, just turnouts on a dirt road about 4 to 5 miles away from here. My recommendation, somebody mentioned earlier in the meeting, to go to Killington, to the ski resort. I guess they allow parking, dispersed parking in their parking lot. That's about 20 minutes away from here. That would be, if I was doing this, that would be my move. I would go to Killington.
I would also double check. I would call Killington. I just looked up when they open up for their mountain bike park, and they do not open till the end of this month. So yeah, I would definitely call. They're usually cool about a lot of that stuff, but I would double check before you dead set on camping out in their parking lot for anybody who plans on doing that.
Well, I sure can't speak for Killington. We have no connection or affiliation with them, but I can tell you this, we've been driving up and over the pass for the past few days. There's a lot of big open parking lots. It looks like
Yeah.
it's a cool place to, stealth camp.
Oh yeah. Yep. Sure is.
Let's see. Is there packet pickup on Thursday? No. Packet pickup is Saturday between 4 and 7 p.m.
Friday.
Wait, I'm sorry, Friday between 4 and 7 p.m. What is the allotted time for the 50 miler? 9 p.m. is the cutoff, the overall cutoff. However, you must start your second lap on the 10-mile course prior to 6 p.m.
With a headlamp.
With a headlamp. Good call. You guys, if you're in the 50, don't come here without a headlamp. Even if you're a super fast guy, put a headlamp in your pack. Because what's going to happen is then I'm going to have to tell you you can't go out because you don't have a light. So please put a light in your bag. It costs nothing to carry a small light. Any more questions for me? Is there a better place for drop bags or better leaving it in your car? If it's raining, I would leave it in my car. If you want to set up a tent and put your stuff under the tent, you can do that. There's plenty of space. We'll have a designated spot for drop bags, but we don't have like a bag check. Those of you that are Spartan athletes, we don't have that. We don't have a fenced in corral with an attendant, nothing like that. There will be an easy up with a tarp on the ground. You can put your stuff there. We have no one that's really going to be watching it. So you're just going to put it there. I would put it in my car. Will the $20 parking lot be full? Should I plan on an alternate parking lot? No, there's lots of space here. For the amount of people that are registered, we have probably twice that amount of space. Thank you very much. All right. This
Oh,
has
I
been
have a
wonderful. I
question.
really enjoy these meetings. I'm available for more questions. What do you got?
My crew wants to know if they can drink alcoholic beverages while waiting. Perfect. Thanks.
I will just say koozie.
Okay.
There will be no problem. I think there's not a problem until there's a problem. And so tell your crew to keep it cool.
Yeah, we're law students, so we won't give you any trouble, but I'll let them know.
I think law students cause the most trouble in this world. What are you talking about? Yeah, I think there's no problem until there's a problem. So just come and be respectful, be kind to everybody, and we'll have a good time.
Thank you very much for all your help and advices and information, and I'll see you Friday.
I am most excited to meet you. Thank you for all of your good questions, and good luck with your first 100-miler. You picked a doozy. If you get through this, you can just go anywhere. Leadville, forget about it. You're ready to go. You go from here to Barkley.
I am. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll see you Friday.
Yes, we'll see you Friday.
Okay, you're welcome to pop off, or you're welcome to hang on. I'm going to sit here until everybody's had enough talking to me. Otherwise, thank you very much for being here.
I have a question, Louis.
Okay.
I don't know if you are familiar with Mountain Masochist down in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
I've heard the stories.
Okay, well, I'm just curious. So my husband and I have done that race a couple times, finished in the time allotment. And I was just wondering if anybody else on the call has also done that race, just to speak to the difficulty. That race has 10,000 feet of elevation in 50 miles, single track, some fire roads. So I think I'm more concerned about the 10-mile loop and how runnable that is versus the 50K loop. I mean, it's not my first rodeo, but the DNF rate is super high on this one. So I'm just curious.
Does anybody have an answer for her? Anybody been to Mountain Masochist and Bloodroot?
No.
I can't speak to Mountain Masochist. I've heard the stories. I personally have not run that. All I can tell you is come and give it a whirl.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. The DNF rate is very high here. But it's a hard race.
Okay. Thanks.
Will this meeting be recorded? Yes. As soon as we're finished here, I'm going to try to upload it to YouTube, and then I'm going to send a link through the Ultra Sign Up. So when you see an email coming from Ultra Sign Up, it's me. I'll probably resend this runner guide again, and then a link to this meeting. If you have any other questions that we didn't cover tonight, please feel free to email me. My email address is in that runner guide, and I'll do my best to respond. Again, the Wi-Fi is not reliable here, or the cell. So we can only check our email occasionally while we're here. I'll do my best. The next 2 days for us are dedicated to finishing the race course. Little challenging for us to get to emails, but send it and I'll do my best. Pretty excited, guys. This team that's here, we came from the West Coast. Again, we are the top Spartan trail team in the country. They sent the best people here to this thing, and we're very excited and proud to be here, and it's important to us. We're putting a lot of pride into this, and we hope that you come and have a good experience, and we look forward to meeting you.
Nice.
All right. I'm going to turn it off. You guys ready?
Could I ask one last question, just for shits and giggles?
Yeah.
When you're talking about the EMS part, let's just say you're at the farthest point out on the 50K 100-mile portion of it. You said that you would have to be at an aid station or close to an aid station. Say, whatever, you break a leg, roll an ankle, whatever it is. How do you guys normally drive around town and then go to that part, or do you have a designated road to drive up to,
That's
whatever?
correct. We have keys to the Forest Service gates, and if there was an extreme emergency, we have a few emergency routes that we can get in. The
Perfect.
challenge is
Okay.
the terrain and the down trees. So we've given this a lot of thought and consideration. We should be able to get to anybody that's in distress. But again, don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to put yourself at risk. Obviously, if you fall, if it's an unforeseen thing, we just have to deal with it. But if there's a time when you're dehydrated, you're out of food, you're having a mess, and you're not sure if you can go on, don't do it. But the answer is yes, we have a plan, an emergency medical plan in place, and we have a team of EMTs that are prepared to go onto the course and extract people.
Perfect. Okay. Hey, thank you for your time today, Lewis.
Yeah, man. Look forward to meeting you.
Yeah, I'll see you on Friday.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to turn it off. See you all this weekend. Bye.